Greetings, fellow lore hunter. I just finished the world quest 9 Pillars of Peace. How many of you noticed the symbol on the floor of the ruins? It's a little strange looking, isn't it? So, I spent a decent amount of time researching it. The best that corresponds with this symbol is the Celtic shield. A little context of you that don't know. The Celtic shield is often used to ward off evil spirits and also for protection. The shield is often designed in square shapes, possibly to represent the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. Sometimes in Celtic artwork you will see this symbol drawn in more detail with many more knots or more complex. It's possible that the symbol on the floor was derived from the Celtic shield. By the way, from now on, I'll start referencing the symbol on the floor as the geoshield symbol for expediency's sake. It is also likely that something was sealed inside the ruin, or at the very least is a warning of some sort. According to the inscription stone, each pillars represent 9 different mortal desires: greed, nostalgia, vision, jealousy, anger, lust, self-aggrandizement, competition, and turmoil. Something I've noticed during this quest: there's a face on each of the pillars. It's a little similar to the face carved into the walls of Andreas's arena. Do you remember him? The big wolf from Razor's story quest. Either way, the geoshield symbol makes another appearance during Hu Tao's story quest, again on the floor during the farewell ceremony. Given the backstory about the Wangsheng funeral parlor, I'd say that my theory that geoshield symbol originating from the Celtic shield is holding more significance than I previously thought. If the Wangsheng funeral parlor is using geoshield circle to protect the border between the dead and the living, then we can assume that the geoshield in Kuiji slope is protecting or warding off something bigger than a mere 9 mortal desires. The dull ring description doesn't say anything striking except for
all beings suffer in war.
There's another translation of the description when talking to the NPCs to sell the dull ring.
Disaster runs rampant throughout the world and all who live do so in agony.
This sentence pricked my interest. If you've completed the world quest 9 Pillars of Peace, then you've seen the inside of the ruin. The atmosphere is dark, suffocating, and even Paimon says it's creepy. But as grand as the whole scene was, the fights that took place seemed a little lackluster. While I will be the last person to ever say that this world quest is easy, it felt a little anticlimactic. That's why I think there's more to it and that this world quest might have a continuation. How did you find the videos so far? Remember to subscribe and share, if you liked it. Share your thoughts in the comment section and stay tuned. The theory is just getting interesting. How many still remember the Chi of Guyun world quest? I remember it to be the hardest quest I've ever played, then dying many times before I caved and asked for help in co-op. Don't worry, we won't be discussing the entire quest, just the statues. At one point during the quest, you'd need to go to the highest point of Qingch village, near Wuwang Hill. Up there, you'll find 8 statues facing in different directions, that represent the 8 directions in a compass. According to the incomplete writing before you solve the puzzle,
Rex Lapis overcame the Chi, but the Chi could not perish in its entirety. Thus, did Rex Lapis conquer each of its facets in turn: its spirit bound in the north, its bones were pinned in the southeast, its flesh was incarcerated in the northwest, its soul was fettered in the northeast, and its form was crushed in the southwest.
Let's discuss the position of the 5 facets. Based on the 8 status, I've drawn up a new direction that will help me pinpoint the locations of each one. The first one mentioned is the spirit. Remember earlier when I said that 9 pillars have a face on them before it breaks, after using the stone of remembrance to unseal the ruin? They resembled a face, carved into the walls of one arena. Andreas, also known as Lupus Boreas. Yes, I think that's where the spirit of Chi was sealed. Yes, it a little far-fetched, but do recall this is only a theory. Now, if you have the weapon Wolf's Gravestone, go look at the lore behind it. It's a story about the knight Boreas and his traveling companion who was a wolf. The wolf died, and the knight left his long sword as a makeshift gravestone for his friend. Is it so strange to think that the spirit of Chi had something to do with how Andreas is now a spirit himself? If you're worried about Andreas getting an upgrade and suddenly becoming a hidden boss, don't sweat it. After you've completed the puzzle on the highest point in Kinch village, the text changes.
Its bones pierced, its spirit faded, its form and soul both decimated, still did its flesh survive. Here stands the statue, to watch in each direction, the wind-swept ruin, the snow-capped peak, the Adepti's abode, and the city of Liu.
I wouldn't worry about it, the other 4 facets are practically harmless. The second one, the bones pinned in the southeast. With Wolvendam as our new north, we can deduce that the bones is under Nantianmen, pinned under the huge crystalline tree, where that creepy little girl keeps telling everyone or his awakening. If you look at the map, the Adepti's abode on Ayazang is between the statue and Nantianmen. I'm starting to think that these geo statues are Zhongli's security cameras or something. Especially since the continuation of the incomplete writing seemed to imply that the statues are watching. The third one, flesh incarcerated in the northwest. Now, here's the only thing of the Kais that is still in existence. It's in, drum rolls please. Storm Terror's lair. Before you bring out your pitchforks and sickles, please hear me out. If you check the GENSHIN wiki about Durin, he is described as a black serpentine dragon, not to be confused with the Chi. They're 2 entirely different people, animal, you know what I mean. Durin was corrupted by the alchemist Gold, and his appearance is one of a disfigured skeletal dragon with glowing red eyes. Its wings were still intact with long veins running along the folds. While quite the grotesque description, it doesn't really match the concept idea of the Chi. The Chi is supposedly an enormous dragon to have made Mount Kinch as its lair. Here's a question for you to ponder on. Durin was corrupted, he wasn't always evil. If you read the lore behind the weapon festering desire and the dragon spine spear, you'll see he wasn't really fully conscious during his reigns of terror, and it seemed like at one point, he had been friends with Dvalin. Don't you wonder how a perfectly sweet dragon turned psycho? What can possibly be so venomous that it could even corrupt a mighty dragon? What about the flesh of the Chi? It wasn't like it was hard to get. It was in Storm Terror's lair. And the alchemist, Gold, was in Dragon Spine. He could have gone over, brought the flesh back, and fed it to Durin. And yes, I think that Gold is a man and not Albedo's master, Rhine. Simply because she's the wrong gender, and anyone who's friends with Alice shouldn't be a bad person because I'm biased. Kidding aside, there's only one person I can think of, but we're not here to talk about him. The fourth one, soul fettered in the northeast. Apparently, fettered means to be confined or restricted. Can you guess where this one is? Dragon's Spine. Some of you have probably explored top to bottom and never found anything suspicious. Maybe not, this theory suggests that it's a future content, but haven't you wondered why there's still howling blizzard in certain places after we finished the world quest, in the mountains, by unlocking the Skyfrost Nail? There's at least 2 teleporters in Dragon Spine that's still covered in blizzard weather. Perhaps, we'll see more of Venti and Zhongli in the future. If this theory pans out, then there should be more to the story of the Chi of Guyun and Durin's fall on Dragon Spine. The last one, its form crushed in the southwest. Now this one was a little tricky. What does form mean for a dragon? Is it not the same as its bones and its flesh? Actually, yes. A dragon's form and flesh are 2 different things. Some lores and legends say that a dragon is not bound by one form. It could change into any animal or person it finds aesthetically pleasing. I'm not sure what the lores will look like for Genshin Impact, but I'll settle for this. Oh, I almost forgot. The location of the form is exactly where the end of the quest the Chi of Guyun takes place. The lair behind the waterfall. If you noticed on the way to the treasure room, the geo statues are all placed as if they're security cameras. If something tries to get out, they'd be able to see. Now, Knowing what I do, it almost seems like the entire place is linked to the golden ball, probably the Kai's form, floating in here. How eerie. So, that's it from me. What are your thoughts on the theory? Is it feasible? Insane? Interesting? Comment and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that subscribe button for future content and that like button. Bunnyworks clocking out.